my name's Martin Bloomfield, and I run a project called Dyslexia Bites.
Hi, I'm Sindre Gulbrandsen, and I come from a vocational school in Nome, Telemark in Norway. And I am part of a project called the Dyslexia Compass, which is sponsored by Erasmus in the EU.
Yes, so my name is Boulon. I'm the director of Babel Idiomas here in Malaga, Spain. And we host this training event here in Malaga. And as Sindre said, we've been working for 2 years on this project. And obviously this is all about creating stuff and being able to help Europeans, in our case, understand dyslexia, talk about dyslexia, adjust for dyslexia as well for dyslexic students.
Bully introduced me to the topic, and he was talking a lot, and he said, oh, it's such an amazing, fascinating topic to work on, and I see it as my mission. I want to spread the word, and I want people to get familiar with it and help.
And the main results that we've created is an online compass where assessors, but also teachers, policymakers and families and dyslexics themselves can look at and can see the differences between certain countries in Europe, how dyslexia is talked about, how dyslexia is understood, but also how dyslexia is being measured and monitored, and what tasks are being used or what tests are being used for that purpose in those regions.
So what you'll notice is that different countries around the world, and specifically for our project, different countries in Europe, have different measurements for how many people have got dyslexia. Now, what we know from looking at the statistics is that this isn't to do with language and orthography, it's to do with something else, and in fact it's to do with how you measure dyslexia.
So the result will be hopefully something that will affect and help and support both dyslexic families, teachers working with students and others with dyslexia, and also assessors and policy makers who wants to see how we do dyslexia testing and assessing across Europe.
When people look for instance, phonological processing issues, they might look for certain types of issues as opposed to other types of issues. They might measure them differently.
Another big output of our project, another big thing we are creating still, we will have created when you watch this video, is a guide, a specifically guide for those people, mainly teachers and parents, who have very little or no experience with dyslexia and might have come across their first dyslexic student or a dyslexic child and don't really know about what dyslexia entails, what it is, and what are all the parts and all the elements that are involved in dyslexia, because as you will see when you read it, it's much more than just reading and writing difficulties. And what we're trying to do is to explain in layman terms what all the elements are and help these people to understand it better and to be able to better communicate with each other and with themselves when they speak about dyslexia.
I'm so happy to meet people who are working together, or have been working together for a long time to gather all information, to do research, because now I know that all the questions they have, they can be clarified, they can be answered, and I feel that in the future, the sky is the limit how far we can go.
So good. So check out dyslexiacompass.eu, and the description will be underneath somewhere.
This is actually not my best sign.
We'll just shoot on just on that.
Yeah.